Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello students, welcome to Swayam Prabha channel 15. The course title is Human Resource Management. The lecture title is Training and Development Part 2. This is module 10, lecture 2. I am Dr. Shoma Sengupta, Associate Professor Commerce, Kamla Nehru College, University of Delhi. In this module, we will cover one part of method of development, that is on-the-job techniques. The different on-the-job techniques are coaching, understudy, position rotation, project assignment, multiple management, selective reading, and committees. We will begin with coaching or mentoring. Now this we have discussed under on-the-job techniques of training as well. In coaching, a senior manager or coach plays an active role in guiding and teaching skills, makes an analysis of trainees' work performance, criticizes and corrects the errors, tells him how to do a job, tries to improve it with suitable guidance, renders advice and makes necessary suggestions, give directions to the trainee executive for his growth and development. So the trainee manager is placed under a senior manager who imparts the different skills and knowledge which is required to perform a job as well as develop the individual as a manager. The coach may divert the trainee executive from routine work and assign him to handle some complex problem and observe his performance. The coach, there is a requirement that he must be a good teacher, and feedback is also taken by the coach. The advantages of coaching and or mentoring as a method of development is learning and earning by doing method. So here the executive is working also. He is adding to the productivity of the organization. He is earning also, and in that process he is learning as well. The trainee executive acquires the skills and knowledge to perform a job, and also the supervisor or the senior manager acquires the teaching and coaching ability. It is an economical method because you don't have to keep a trainer or arrange for a kind of a vestibule or artificial conditions. So you are not spending anything on the development program, except for that the senior manager is training the under trainee. It can be undertaken even during the routine work. Periodic feedback and evaluation can be undertaken in this method. But there are different limitations as well. There is heavy dependence on the coach. We have said that he has to be a good teacher, and they have developed a tendency to make present executive style as central. So the senior manager, whatever he knows, he will impart that kind of knowledge to the executive. So if he knows the wrong method of doing things, that will be passed on to the executive, trainee executive as well. It encourages the existing style and practices to continue in the organization. Continuing with the limitations, the next limitation is the method is not effective when the supervisor is incompetent or does not take interest in the training and development process. Now, the environment is not free from daily routine tension, and the trainee may not find sufficient time to learn and improve his performance. Now, what has to be done to make it effective? So coaching can work well or it can be made effective if coach provides a good model with whom the trainee can identify. Both the trainee and coach can be open with each other and close interaction is maintained. Coach accepts his responsibility fully. Coach provides the trainee with recognition of his improvement and suitable rewards. Coach is a good communicator, a motivator, and a patient listener. The next method is understudy. It prepares a manager for taking over the charge of his senior after his retirement, transfer, promotion, or death. So, here we have discussed it under the on the job training methods as well. The trainee or the executive is put under the immediate superior or a person whose job he will take up once that person leaves that position because of, say, further promotion of that person, or he retires or leaves the job. So before leaving that particular position or making it vacant, he trains his lower executive so that he can take up that position. Now, it provides an equally competent successor to a senior manager who is currently holding a position. The executive who is understudy acts as assistant to the superior executive whom he will succeed. Senior manager realizes that unless he develops his subordinate, he will not get the promotion or he cannot vacate this position and move upward. So obviously he will put his whole effort in training the lower level executive. The senior executive teaches him all the skills, imparts complete knowledge for the performance of the job, gives him a feel of what his job is, develops the understudy in all respects such as decision making, leading, problem solving, etc. The merits and demerits are similar to that of coaching, and in fact it is similar in all the on the job techniques more or less. So the merits are, it is an economical way, earn while learn, maintains a close contact between the junior and his senior, ensures continuity of management. Demerits are, it perpetuates the same old managerial practices. Understudy may not have any freedom of thought and action when his senior is overbearing and predominant. The learner finds it difficult to concentrate on learning, and he may learn the wrong methods of doing things. Another on the job technique is a job or position rotation. So we have discussed that under methods of training as well. Here a person is moved from one position to another after a certain gap of time, and he continues from moving from one position to another. So he learns the technique, nuances of each of the job, and then he moves to another job. In that way he become a generalist. He gets to know about the work of each and every department, and this facilitates coordination in the departments also. A kind of an empathetic view will be created among the trainees. The job rotation refers to transfer of managers from one job to another, or from one department to another, or from one section to another in a planned manner. The transferred executive to a new job has to assume the full responsibility and duty. The object is to broaden the outlook and acquire the diverse skills and knowledge needed to perform the various jobs in the organization. The manager will learn new ideas and gain new information underlying various jobs. Very good method of transforming a functional specialist into a generalist executive. Now the types of transfer can be horizontal job rotation, that is the lateral transfer from one department to another at the same position, or it can be a vertical job rotation, but here it involves promotion, and this kind of job rotation is rare. So this is about job rotation. Now we come to the next portion, that is the merits and demerits. So the advantages of job rotation: it motivates executive to acquire comprehensive knowledge and skills, understand others' difficulties, and realize the circumstances under which his colleagues are working, facilitates cooperation and coordination between various departments of the organization, frees him from the monotony of working in the same position, imparts multiple skills and broadens his outlook, helps him gain in experience. So in a way you are creating a manager who will take up the position, higher level position, and he can have a widened viewpoint or outlook. So he can have a holistic view of the organization. When it comes to limitations, it is not very cost effective. And on the new assignment, the manager may commit mistakes which adds to the cost. It may cause disruption of work routine. It is difficult for trainee to adjust himself frequently in the new positions, upsets his family life and personal life as well. Only a few persons have the capacity to move from one job to another. The next type of on-the-job training method or development method is project assignment. A group of trainee executives is assigned a particular project directly related to their functional area. Sometimes people from other functional areas also join this project. So you can have people from different departments as well. Now, everybody is specialized in some functional area and they are given a project. The project team or task force will study the problem and find suitable solutions to these problems. So, take an example like an accounts officer may be assigned the task of designing and developing an effective budgetary control system in the organization. So it is a flexible system of training because of its temporary nature in the assignment. But here what he will do, he will collect, they will collect all the information necessary and they will consult people from other departments also, and then they will come out with a budgetary control system in the organization. So as I was telling you that it is a flexible system. So it is a temporary assignment, and once the assignment is completed, the project is disbanded and people start working in their respective departments. The trainee will study the problem, collect and analyze the data and make recommendations upon it. The advantage is it helps in educating the trainee acquire knowledge of a department and also of other departments. Another technique of on-the-job development is multiple management. It is developed by Charles P. McCormick in his own organization. A board consisting of young junior executives is constituted in this. The board discusses the actual problems, analyzes different alternative solutions, makes its recommendation to the board of directors, and board of directors finally consider the recommendation and gives the approval. So this is a real life situation whereby they discuss on a real problem and come out with a solution. So the board of directors receives collective wisdom of so many executives who are the trainees, but they are brainstorming on a particular issue. So, and the young managers, they learn the decision making abilities or skills. Now, what will happen? Vacancies in board of directors will be later on filled up from these junior board members as they have received a considerable exposure of the situations, real life problems, and the problem solving skills. The merits of multiple management style is practical experience is given to the group, and they know the group decision making, teamwork. So all these things are inculcated among the group members. It facilitates their exposure, widens outlook, and they get an opportunity to acquire knowledge of various aspects of the business. Junior board helps to increase the productivity and human relations. It is inexpensive and very cost effective. It develops a considerable number of executives in a short period of time and also helps in identifying the managerial talent. Demerits: no specific attention is given to the development of the needs of the executive. So you are thinking only in terms of organization's point of view, not the executive's point of view. Not suitable for lower level executives. Discussions and recommendations of the junior board is likely to degenerate into academic discussions and debates. So that is the problem with multiple management. Next is selective reading. Now you know that different styles of management and different techniques, technological development, everything is happening in and around the organizations, in the environment, in other countries, and so many literature, so many articles, they are coming up. So books on management development, they are coming up. So on different techniques, they are coming up. And so the managers need to study all these things, read all these things, so as to apply that in their real practices. So because of that, an exposure of literature has to be given to them. So that is all about selective reading. So the management, the top management, they supplies various professional books and journals to the trainee executives. The objective is to enable them to learn new things and add to their knowledge and skills. A number of innovations in management, developments, techniques, everything. Some of the organization, they maintain a library also to encourage managers to read and improve their knowledge and skills. The advantage of such a method is managers can keep in touch with the latest development, research findings, theories and techniques in management. It helps to avoid managerial obsolescence, and also it encourages self-development among managers. The last technique that we are going to discuss is committees. A committee is a group of executives appointed to investigate, take action, make recommendations regarding some matter relating to the organization. So it goes similar, it is similar to project assignment and multiple management that we have discussed. But here specifically there is a problem, and for that a committee is formed, and they analyze or investigate every aspect of this problem, come out with they judge or weigh different alternative solutions, and then finally come out with recommendations. The committee may have persons from different departments also. The committee studies the problem or issue in accordance with the terms of reference. So whatever is the terms of reference, accordingly they study it, analyze it. The trainee executives, they take part in the committee meeting, discuss various viewpoints and alternative problem solving methods. So finally they make a recommendation to the management. So the advantage of this type of again, it's a learning base. You are indulging in brainstorming, problem solving, communication also, because you are talking with people from different departments, interpersonal skills. All this will be developed in this process, and trainees become acquainted with the different viewpoints and acquires a wider perspective, learns interpersonal and problem solving skills, speeds up this process, speeds up the development of executives, because at a particular time you are training a whole group of executives from different departments. The disadvantage is sometimes it becomes a battleground, because people from different departments, they are members of this committee, so they may fight it out. So it becomes a battleground. So there should be a coordinator who will have to manage the things. It may be dominated by few individuals, generally the extroverts. They dominate such type of committee discussion, so that has to be monitored. Otherwise is a good ground for training the executives. Okay, so what we have studied in this, the different on the job techniques of management development, that is coaching, understudy, position rotation, project assignment, multiple management, selective reading and committees. All these techniques, each one of them, they have their advantages and disadvantages. In coaching and understudy, the executive learns under a senior executive. He performs a different job at different job positions in job rotation or position rotation. He is provided with literature on managerial research and development in selective reading. In project assignment, multiple management and committees, the executives are put in a team, they study a problem and come out with solutions and recommendations. For references, personnel management by Flippo, modern human resource management by C.B. Gupta. Beside that, this is a part of any book of HRM. Thank you very much, students. So this was module 10, lecture 2 on training and development part 2.